So our mast came with an extra forward-facing sheave up the masthead, and I'm going to add a spare halyard out the front, and I'm going to bring it down the inside of the mast, cut in an exit plate right up here, and try and run this halyard. So I made a template for the halyard exit plate, and I need to drill some holes and cut out that shape. And then I was also just checking the lead for the halyard to come from the winch and go through a clutch. And we got some good Gar-Hauer clutches, and I'm going to add some clutches to the halyards on the mast. We'll see. I'm going to try and get this hole drilled in the mast, get it carved out, and then rivet this plate on. So as I was planning to cut a hole in the mast, I did a little bit of research and found out they recommend, I saw a video actually with Buzz Ballinger and this guy from Schaefer talking about where to put the exit plates and how to stagger them so that you're not putting a stress point or a weak point in the mast's, the extrusion section. So based on these two halyards being right here, these two halyards over here are kind of low. I went and figured on putting this one up high, but being in between the jib and the staysail halyard here. So hopefully spacing everything out and getting these far enough away, it won't create a, you know, a cripple point in the mast. And it seems to me, I don't know what the inside of the mast looks like up at the spreaders, but I'm guessing the spreader goes all the way through. I'm guessing since these are the forward halyards, they exit, they come down, and I believe they come down on the inside of the mast behind the spreader brace. And these ones are the aft halyards, and they come forward of the center line of the mast where I think the spreader crosses through. So this one also exits from the front, so it enters from the front at the masthead and comes down, and hopefully can get it around the back side of the spreader brace on the inside when I dangle that little chasing line, when I chase the wire, or the little pull string, and then hoist the halyard up in and over. Hopefully I'll be able to get it onto the back side of the spreader. We just walked around some of the other boats on the docks, and we're looking at how their halyards exit and how far they're staggered, and it looks like I might need to change that location a little bit, maybe run it up the mast a little higher. Today we're going to get new halyards installed. I got 2 lengths of rope, double braid, like stay set, nothing super duper expensive. But I'm going to try and whip these ends and get them pulled through the sheaves. We've got one existing main halyard that's going to be pretty easy to chase through, hopefully. I want to run a new halyard through the empty sheave at the top of the masthead exiting forward that we put in the exit plate for. Right on. So I tied a bunch of whatever I had to the end of a string and ran it down over the sheave, and now it's out. Had to go to the masthead twice to make it work. Alright, now I'll just use that to haul up the new halyard. Alright, so I tied the new halyard on the pull string, and then kind of wrap some tape around it. Hopefully it's tapered enough that it'll go up that past the sheave box. Come on, go.
Put it down lower or up higher.
that's it. So we got the spare halyard ran up on the empty sheave and the masthead, and I also want to change out the main halyard. So rather than do an eye splice, right now we have an eye splice on there, but it has a hard time getting full hoist because of the taper and bury on the on a regular eye splice on double braid. I learned this knot from another guy. He mentioned it. It came in the Selden mast rigging catalog, or the instruction manual, and it's just a simple halyard knot. And you just basically come up. You can make 2 turns over top of the standing line, and then you bring it through the loop that you formed, and then you just pull it down. This way the halyard can go all the way up to the sheave box, and when I'm climbing I have trouble reaching the masthead because of the way I shackle my climbing rope onto the main halyard. The thing doesn't go all the way to the masthead, plus then it starts stretching a little bit as I'm climbing, and I end up down about this far, so I can gain an extra 6 inches. I can actually stand up and reach over the masthead. This knot's good because you can, well, once it's been loaded up, I've read that you basically have to cut it off, but you can just keep shortening the halyard, give yourself a little extra length, shorten the halyard. You can pull it off, end for end it, and then any chafe spots or any wear spots that are happening in the main halyard can be moved to a different point on the halyard. I'm going to go out and splice this one, just whip it to the old halyard, cut off the old end, and feed this back up through the mast. So here's our natty old main halyard. Here's the new main halyard. This is the eye splice I was talking about. It gets really fat right at the last, about 8 or 10 inches. It really gets fat. So the shackle doesn't even get full hoist. So now I'm going to start carefully feeding this up until the new line clears this lumpy knot thing going on here where they had the stop knot in the end. And pull very carefully and hope I don't lose the halyard. Here we go. Got it. I'm going to tie a stopper knot in this real quick. Okay, so here's that halyard knot again. This is our old headboard shackle. Come through, make a loop, once over again, 2 passes, bring it through the eye, pull it tight. That's what it looks like when it's finished. Boom. Halyard knot. So I like playing around with spectra, and I got a big old scrap of this stuff. It's kind of used, but it still works and splices pretty good. So I've just been making, this one's a continuous loop. You can just go around whatever metal fixture. You just got a loop. Or good old-fashioned soft shackle, which feeds through the eye, goes around, and then locks down on the neck of this ball knot. I've got a few of these around. I'm going to make a couple more of them. Keeps everything from clanging on metal. There's our new halyard. So thanks for watching. If you like what we're doing, give us a thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and you'll get a notification every time we make a new video.